Something about abandoned places ignites our sense of awe. When we see them, we can't help but imagine how they must have appeared at their height, vibrant with energy and echoing with sound. But these aren't merely abandoned places. They're sites where time has frozen, and something far more unsettling might have crept in. These are the 15 most spine-chilling abandoned places on the planet. Places so unnerving, so drenched in myth or memory, that staying alone would be unbearable. From ghost towns overtaken by nature to buildings etched with sorrow, every place whispers a tale, and not all of them feel like they've said their last word. Number 15. Agrasenki Baoli. Agrasenki Baoli sits hidden in the heart of Delhi. It's basically a deep stepwell whose origins remain unwritten and mysterious. With no historical records confirming its maker or age, experts believe it may date back to the time of the legendary king Agrasen. Though often described as a spiritual site or temple, part of the structure also functioned as a water reservoir, which long since dried out. While the place is now known for its architectural beauty and film appearances, eerie stories still linger. Locals whisper of unsettling noises echoing through the lower levels, and some claim to have seen the ghostly figure of a woman dressed in a red sari, her face partially scorched. While the fear has dulled over the years, many visitors admit feeling uneasy while descending the stone steps. The Baoli remains open to the public, both admired for its intricate design and quietly feared for what may still linger in its shadows, just beyond sight. Number 14. Helltown. The name says everything about this place. Once a quiet village nestled in the forests of Ohio, Helltown is now drowned in whispers and disturbing tales. After the government acquired the land during the 1970s, locals were evicted and the roads sealed. Residents speak of toxic spills, deformed animals, and occult rituals held in the derelict church. Roads twist and dead end without logic, as if designed to trap rather than guide. Warning signs litter the area. Homes remain untouched, and the oppressive stillness is pierced by strange, unexplained noises. It's as if the town itself wants to stay hidden. Being in this place, this close to everything tied to Helltown, sends a chill down the spine. Even during daylight, the atmosphere crushes you. The forest presses in, engines fail, hikers vanish. Paranormal experts record intense electromagnetic pulses, yet no solid explanation ever comes. Some believe it's a toxic waste cover-up. Others insist it's cursed ground. Either way, people tend to leave quickly, or not at all. Number 13. Trivale Forest. This forest is a place soaked in tragic history and superstition. According to old accounts, a wealthy man once lived here with his daughter. When he arranged her marriage to an older man in hopes of growing his fortune, she fled with the servant she truly loved. Enraged, her father tracked them down, slaughtered the servant before her eyes, and then executed his daughter by beheading. Since then, reports of a headless apparition have filled local lore. Witnesses have described seeing the ghost deep in the forest, only to encounter it again while fleeing. Others have found strange symbols carved into trees and scattered remnants of rituals, leading many to believe the area now hosts occult activity. Though hikers still wander its paths, most refuse to stay past dusk. The silence here feels unnatural. The trees don't just stand, they loom. Whether haunted by tragedy or something darker, Trivale remains a forest that doesn't forget. Number 12. Humberstone. This old saltpeter mining town in the Atacama Desert was not always like this. It was once a thriving industrial hub, but when synthetic alternatives replaced natural nitrate, the economy collapsed, and everyone left. The desert remained. Buildings are still upright, but the wind slides through them like it owns the place. It doesn't feel abandoned. It feels paused. Humberstone's silence hums louder than any city street. Chalkboard lessons remain half-written. Theater seats face an empty stage. Machines rust where they stopped decades ago. Some say they've heard distant voices or faint music echoing from nowhere, as if the town is replaying its final moments. The dry air preserves everything, even grief. Locals claim the spirits of workers still drift through the ruins, tethered by harsh labor and unkept promises. After dark, the temperature drops, and so does any sense of safety. Doors creak open on their own. Footsteps cross empty courtyards. Humberstone isn't just silent, it's holding its breath, and it knows you're there. So, be careful. Number 11. Murny Diamond Mine. In Siberia's frozen wasteland lies a hole so vast it distorts the wind. The Murny Diamond Mine, nearly 1 mile wide and over 1,700 feet deep, was once a hub of Soviet wealth. Now, it's deserted, a colossal scar in the earth. Helicopters are banned from flying over it due to air current disruptions. Birds vanish inside its vortex. Standing at the edge feels wrong. The depth pulls at you. Some say the earth stares back. Locals report hearing humming at night, low, constant, almost like breathing. Machinery lies rusting on its ledges. Even the sunlight seems swallowed before it hits the bottom. Workers once pulled gems from its depths. Now it's just silence and dust. Some believe the mine reaches older layers, ones better left untouched. Whatever remains beneath it doesn't like company. Murny doesn't feel abandoned. It feels sealed. And if you listen too long, you might start to believe the pit listens back. It's just scary. Number 10. Eastern State Penitentiary. In Philadelphia, this big stone prison once confined some of America's most infamous criminals, Al Capone among them. Designed to promote repentance through solitude, it instead shattered minds. Cells are claustrophobic. Hallways magnify every sound. Death row feels colder than anywhere else. Today, it runs as a museum, and it's widely considered one of the most haunted places in the country. Paranormal teams have documented disembodied whispers, shadows, and abrupt temperature drops. While walking through, most people don't feel alone, and that's what makes it horrifying. Some report breathlessness, dizziness, or even being grabbed. Capone himself allegedly confessed to hearing the ghost of someone he betrayed. Now it's a place for those chasing the ghostry or brave enough to walk its cursed halls. The architecture is crumbling, but the energy remains potent. Time may have moved on outside these walls, but inside, the punishment continues. Eastern State never really closed. It just stopped pretending. Number 9. Lennox Castle. This castle in the Scottish countryside was finished in 1812 for John Lennox Kincaid Lennox, a distant relative of Clan Kincaid, descendants of the historic Earls of Lennox. Originally built as a grand estate for a prominent family, the castle took a darker turn in the 1930s when it was converted into an asylum for the mentally ill. During World War II, parts of the grounds were repurposed as a wartime hospital, and the psychiatric patients were relocated to surrounding buildings. Violence among patients reportedly became common, and during one especially violent episode, panicked staff and uninvolved patients fled while rioters were left locked inside. The damage to the ward was extensive. By the 1980s, the facility was nearly empty, and in 2002, it officially closed. Since then, it stood in eerie silence, slowly decaying under the weight of its own history. Some now propose turning the ruins into luxury apartments, but not everyone is eager to move in. Number 8. Villa Epiquen. Once a popular lakeside spa town, it vanished in 1985 when a dam broke, submerging the town under salt water for 25 years. When the floodwaters receded, they left behind a skeleton coated in white. Trees petrified by salt, buildings crumbled and frozen, sidewalks cracked and ghostly. The entire landscape glows unnaturally even in daylight. Visitors report headaches, nausea, and some blame the salt. Others say it's something worse. The ruins feel hollowed out by grief. Salt flakes off collapsed hotels. Crumbling murals peek through chalky decay. One former resident returned to live alone among the ruins. He claims to hear whispers at night, voices from before the flood. But it's the silence afterward that hits hardest. A silence so full, it presses down on you. Villa Epiquen wasn't just drowned, it was erased. But what came back isn't just what the water left behind. It's quieter, sadder, and when you're alone in those ruins, it's just the end. Number 7. Beichuan. Back in 2008, a devastating earthquake struck Sichuan province, flattening towns and killing thousands of innocent people. Beichuan was one of the hardest hit. Instead of rebuilding, authorities left it untouched as a permanent memorial. Twisted buildings lean on shattered foundations. Schools collapsed. Cars lie crushed. Time stopped here. Street signs still point to homes that no longer exist. Dolls, notebooks, and family photos rest untouched under debris. You don't come here to explore. You come to mourn. Even birds avoid the skies overhead. Torn flags flutter in silence. Water stains streak the walls like dried tears. Survivors report hearing children's laughter where no one plays, footsteps in abandoned corridors, and voices beneath the rubble. Beichuan isn't just a ghost town. It's a preserved moment of tragedy. Grief lingers here like smoke. You don't walk away from this place untouched. You walk away carrying what it couldn't bury. It's sacred, it's sorrowful, and it still breathes loss with every silent gust. Number 6. Bannerman's Castle. Perched on Polypel Island in New York's Hudson River, the remains of Bannerman's Castle still stand like a decaying fortress. Originally built as an armory to store military surplus, it was damaged by multiple explosions and fires before falling into abandonment. Now, nature claws at its remains. Stone walls crumble, staircases hang mid-air, windows gape open. Rumors suggest unexploded munitions still lie hidden within. Tour boats circle it, but few disembark. Lightning has struck it more than once, deepening its ominous aura. Despite preservation efforts, parts keep collapsing, as if even the ground wants it erased. Visitors report mood swings and nausea the moment they set foot on the island. Birds avoid nesting here. Compasses malfunction. Inside the ruins, whispers are heard behind blocked walls. Some say they've seen uniformed figures staring through the cracks. Many believe the ghost of Frank Bannerman still guards it. This place isn't just crumbling, it's resisting. It doesn't want to be remembered. It wants to be left alone. Number 5. Belitz Heilstätten. Tucked within forest land outside Berlin, this vast hospital complex hides a grotesque past. Constructed in the 19th century for tuberculosis treatment, it later became a Nazi military hospital. Adolf Hitler was once treated here after being wounded in World War I. During World War II and the Soviet occupation, the corridors were filled with the dying. Now it lies in decay. Operating tools rest on trays. Wheelchairs rust in corners. Graffiti covers faded bloodstains. Many claim the spirits of patients and soldiers still roam these halls. This isn't merely deserted. It's saturated with war, disease, and death. Endless hallways echo with unseen footsteps. The air reeks faintly of antiseptic and mildew, despite years of abandonment. Beneath it all lies a network of tunnels once used to move bodies discreetly. Today, it draws thrill seekers and ghost hunters. EVPs have been captured. Others flee in terror, convinced something followed them out. Belitz doesn't just hold history, it oozes it through every fractured tile and hollow chamber. Number 4. Sathorn Unique Tower. Bangkok's unfinished ghost tower was once planned as a luxury skyscraper until the 1997 financial crash halted construction. Now it stands like a skeleton, 49 floors of concrete and silence. Locals believe it's cursed. Some say haunted by those who died during its slow decay. Few dare to climb past the lower levels. The higher you go, the colder it gets, and sometimes people claim to hear footsteps that don't match their own. Suicides, unexplained deaths, and urban myths surround this place like scaffolding. The walls drip with rot and graffiti. Paranormal investigators have reported movement between floors that should be empty. The air feels wrong, thick, stale, and intrusive. Guards talk about voices on upper levels, slamming doors with no wind. Urban explorers often leave shaken, refusing to discuss what they felt. This tower wasn't just abandoned. It became something else. Whatever energy filled the void didn't stay still. Number 3. Erdstall Tunnels. The Erdstall tunnels, found throughout Austria, Germany, and other parts of Europe, remain one of history's enduring mysteries. Believed to date back to the medieval era, these tunnels twist through rock with no recorded purpose or origin. There are no documents explaining who built them or why. The passages are extremely narrow, often forcing visitors to crawl, and some are barely high enough to kneel. While some historians believe they were hideouts for outlaws or smugglers, others suggest darker theories. One long-standing belief claims these tunnels were built to imprison demonic entities, or to serve in sacred rituals tied to early European folklore. Most of the Erdstall system is shrouded in darkness and unexplored. Only select sections are open to the public, often through small village tours. What lies beyond those known routes remains uncharted. The deeper tunnels are rarely disturbed, as even modern explorers describe sudden chills, confusing echoes, and the strange sense that they're not walking alone. Number 2. Fordlandia. Deep in the Amazon, Henry Ford once tried to build a utopia, a rubber plantation town to feed his booming car empire. But disease, poor logistics, and culture clashes doomed the plan. The jungle took it back. Now it sits in ruins. Buildings sink beneath vines. Streets lead nowhere. The rainforest didn't forget. It swallowed the dream whole. Locals speak of strange cries at night and sudden drops in temperature. The surviving structures crack under relentless moisture, overtaken by moss and rot. It doesn't feel abandoned. It feels punished. Wild animals now roam freely through streets once built for factory schedules and American order. Rusting equipment lies buried in soil. This place wasn't just a business failure, it became a graveyard for ambition. Stories still circulate about workers driven mad by heat, mosquitoes, and madness. They say their screams echo in the trees. Ford tried to tame the jungle, but the jungle doesn't joke. Number 1. Krakow. This ancient village rests atop a cliff face, its stone dwellings gazing out across the desolate Italian countryside like silent sentinels. Krakow was once alive with people, but landslides, seismic tremors, and failing infrastructure forced an evacuation. Today, the buildings remain eerily preserved, a textbook ghost town. Winds whisper down the alleys, and locals claim to see figures shifting behind windows. Visitors are allowed, but most don't linger. There's a persistent sense that something old still roams those fragile paths. Time didn't erode Krakow, it embalmed it. Churches, homes, and even a castle stand untouched, creating the illusion that life simply stopped. One haunting detail: newer parts of the village have vanished, while the oldest pieces remain unscathed. Why then does the place resemble a war zone? Historians marvel at the preservation. Sensitives claim it holds emotional residue: displacement, panic, abandonment. There's a stark difference between something empty and something devoid of life. Krakow is the former, and that's what makes it so disturbing. If you've enjoyed this video, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for hanging with us, and we'll see you very soon.